he's walking through, and I'm playing Skyrim on the Switch, and he walks through, and he goes, "Wow, that looks pretty realistic. That's pretty cool." You know, like
Skyrim has some great fog effects.
He starts watching Skyrim.
Uh-huh.
So then I go, all right, fuck it. I switch the inputs to the Apple TV, and I throw on footage of me playing Red Dead. My dad goes, "Is that real? Is that fucking real?"
And welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Emergent Gamer Podcast, episode 194, brought to you by the OG Podcast Network. This is Neo Ayoshi, and I'm here with some real cool dudes. Let's just go around and say who you guys are. We got Locke.
Hey, what's going on?
Locke's here.
Everybody.
We got Trip Zero.
What's up, everybody? It's Trip Zero.
And Felix Hergood.
This is Felix Hergood.
And today, guys, we're here to talk about a really special subject, and that is Game of the Year.
Game of the Year, dude.
Game of the Year.
I just want to apologize real quick, Neo.
Yeah, go on.
I knew you wanted us to go around, and
I
realized that I could. But this time I could look at your screen on Twitch, and I did. And then my brain was like, "No, you're in the bottom corner."
I realized last second, probably not a great idea. I should have just brought you guys in, but it's all good.
It's fine. You're good.
You did bring us in.
Yes,
Okay.
You did a great job.
So this year, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go through all of our top 5 games of the year that really stood out to us, ending with one, of course, our big game of the year, the one that we like the most, and then I would like us to come together with a game of the year of the podcast, one that we all can kind of like come down on being like the game of the year.
The one we all enjoyed the most.
Yes, exactly. Also,
Together as a show.
Together as a show. Also, I have some other categories that I brought in this year, different from last year. And those are visuals, music, best moment, most disappointing, and most anticipated of 2019. So I figured we sneak that in there. Just doesn't have to be all of them or a top 5 list. We'll just come up with like one that really stands out to each of you, or just the podcast in general. So I thought we would do that.
I like it. I think personally we do those before the big top 5 reveal.
The group ones.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, and then we'll end with the top 5 ones.
What
Cool.
our jams are.
Well, then let's just hop right into it. What do you say, guys?
I'm down.
Sounds good.
Cool. So let's start with visuals. Best visuals. Now, this can be like art style, art direction. I'm kind of like taking the Game Awards categories and just boiling them down. I don't want like the action adventure. I don't want all that. I'm bringing it in. I'm bringing it in a little bit.
I don't want to use the word fluff, but there was a lot of categories in the Game Awards that were like
best esports moment.
Yeah, what? Hello?
Well, I mean, they matter to somebody.
Yeah, I know, for sure.
Oh,
really.
yeah, and I'm not saying that the categories
don't matter. Yeah.
relevant. Just that all their category choices were strange. Like they combined, what do they combine? Sports and racing into one category. Like
Yeah.
Like, it's definitely enough to have enough for their own categories. I don't know.
So I nominated
podcaster.
I nominated a few games for this category of visuals. Feel free to add more, guys, or throw one out there on your own, and we'll all try and like nail one down. So I brought in Spider-Man, God of War, Red Dead 2, Destiny Forsaken. So
Okay.
You did.
anything else that you guys want to talk about that jumps out to you?
Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Perfect.
It's a visually stunning game at times.
I've only played the demo, but I thought Octopath Traveler had a really interesting visual style where
that's
it
a good
was
one.
2D sprites in their 3D world with cool lighting effects and things like that.
It had a sweet depth of field and like a really cool like vignette style.
Yeah, no, it was super cool.
With their pixel art.
Yeah. The other game that I would say that belongs on there is Gree.
Great.
Yeah.
I just installed that game.
Yeah, it's on my list of games this year. So it's definitely unique, like the hand drawn
what's that play on?
illustration.
It's
What's
on
that?
it's on everything.
It's on every console.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Everything.
it's got its own unique art style, so that definitely I think should be on there.
It's gorgeous, yeah.
Gorgeous.
So I'm voting for Spider-Man as mine. Now, not
Okay.
just because I'm biased towards Spider-Man. If you go over like on Twitter and like the subreddit of Spider-Man PS4, people have been posting these insane screenshots, and I kid you not, these suits and like the visual style of Spider-Man is absolutely out of control. The amount of detail that they put into like each piece of his fabric in his suit, like every detail gets affected by the shadows, and it like really makes it realistic. And that was like one of the things that like really took me, by surprise, and pretty much the only game I used photo mode in this year, like
Oh yeah.
more than anything, because of how cool it was to get those shots of Spidey. So that's my big push.
That's a good one. Good one for sure.
I was really blown away by the Red Dead Redemption 2 visuals.
Oh my god.
In terms of visual, like I just there's so many times in that game where I just stopped, paused, and then with my character just like looked around,
Dude, the lighting in that game, Red Dead, is so crazy that it makes it look it looks dull, but at the same time it looks like you are literally inhabiting that world in the lighting. It's insane.
Especially
how good
when
it
you
looks.
put it in first person mode.
Oh my god. Yeah, when you get rid of like the character models, the environment itself is just like it's stunning.
Mm-hmm.
Any other guys?
Yeah. I was gonna throw in Red Dead as well. That's mine for visuals for sure. You had a good point about saying how there aren't things that specifically pop out at you. On the whole, you're more like, wow, this looks real. Like you're like, oh, this is a little bit more than a regular video game look. Something about it, all the things they put into play, all the fog, the textures, the lighting, the weather that happens naturally, the way the cloud patterns form. That I feel like you notice even more in third person. But to Felix's point, when you're in first person mode, like, oh my god, dude, the design of everything in that game, like, fucking beats the shit out of your eyeballs. Like every container that you pick up from the general store, flipping through the books where you can buy things, like the embossing of the letters on the metal as you're looking at an item, it's so insane.
So I was down at my parents' house and I was playing Skyrim on the Switch. My dad normally doesn't give a shit about video games. He's got a train platform he's building. So
yeah. Oh, dude, my dad too. He's into trains too. That's funny.
Yeah.
That thing.
What's your dad's gauge? What's
It's the thing, dude.
What's train gauge?
I think it is N gauge. They're the tinier ones.
N gauge. Yeah.
Oh, that was a great phone. I like that phone.
My dad does the bigger the G gauge ones.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's walking through and I'm playing Skyrim on the Switch and he walks through and he goes, "Wow, that looks pretty realistic. That's pretty cool." Like
Skyrim has some great fog effects.
He starts watching Skyrim.
Uh-huh.
So then I go, all right, fuck it. I switch the inputs to the Apple TV and I throw on footage of me playing Red Dead. My dad goes, "Is that real? Is that fucking real?" And I was like, "No, this is like a computer generated." Like, he's like, that's like a game like that other game you were just playing. And I'm like, "Yeah, see me in the corner. I'm playing the game."
That's
and I was in first person in the footage, but that was the moment where I realized this game is really fucking cool visuals. If my father can't tell the difference between that and real.
Well,
that's a good sign, man.
Any other pushes you guys want to bring up, or do you want to do a little vote ski?
We can vote.
All right, so we got.
I mean, the only thing that I was going to say, which I'm going to be a Debbie Downer to all of you, I'm like not playing those games and just watching them via streams. They don't really look impressive, to be honest. Maybe it's because of the clarity of the streams, and maybe I'm not because I'm not playing it on my TV and seeing it in native quality. So it's hard for me to measure those games. I mean, if I'm measuring like God of War and what God of War looked like against what I'm sure Spider-Man looks like, I could see it, or Red Dead. But quite honestly, if I'm comparing Spider-Man to Red Dead looked muddled and boring to me when I watched people play it in terms of the visual palette. Where Spider-Man, I think, looked the complete opposite. Like, I think Spider-Man did a lot of good stuff with colors and vibrance and things like that. So I'll kick it off. I'll go Spider-Man to be aligned with you guys in terms of your votes, just from what I saw from gameplay wise.
Nice. Those are good points for sure.
I'm going.
Definitely popped off the screen.
I'm
Jumped
going.
off.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I couldn't get over how good Spider-Man looked. It was nuts how good he looked. But I will also be voting for Spider-Man. So is that a 2v2 there?
It might be a 2v2.
Oh man.
I mean,
Well,
I can break the tie because I played both games and I was.
No, you should choose the one that you want.
Yeah.
Look,
okay.
There are no rules here. We can make two games have the best visuals.
We can have a 2v2.
There are no rules.
Or I could pick a game that I played and then that game wins.
Destiny. Is it Destiny?
So I mean,
straight Destinies down the board. Bing.
Yeah. Right.
It does
no,
look good.
but I think I mean, Destiny does look great. I mean, so does God of War. I mean, I feel like we're really splitting hairs on some of these things.
Yeah, you have to at a certain point because of how good everything looks.
Right.
In general,
it's difficult. And in those instances, I think getting super specific about a certain element of the visuals is like what's important, right? Because
they all do things very well,
Character models should at this point look pretty realistic, and worlds should look pretty realistic, right? And they should render pretty well overall, unless you're going against the grain for whatever reason. But if Spider-Man did whatever shadows and the way that the light's being casted on different objects really well, and that stood out to you, well, then that's, I think, a reason to pick it over Red Dead. And if you're saying the details and the way that the details of certain objects in the world were really fine-tuned and that stood out to you, so I think that's how specific we need to get with visuals at this point, because they're all, I feel like we're in a point now where there's an expectation of what a game should look like, and most games are meeting it.
There are certain parts of Red Dead that do show age in the engine, like
hell yeah,
like as it's like the GTA engine, or whatever they use. So there are elements in, like, even the character models they don't all look particularly great. They got animations down pretty well. I think all the walking that, like, Arthur Morgan does looks pretty great as he saunters along the road or whatever. Horses look great as well. Like, they've nailed that as well. But there are certain textures.
Nutsacks really jumped off the screen.
Oh my god, yeah, baby.
I mean, quite honestly, like I couldn't tell a difference between that and GTA. Like, it doesn't look visually better than GTA 5 did to me, to be honest. From a viewer, from viewing the game.
Yeah, they have a lot of atmosphere and lighting things going on in Red Dead that really are making it stand out visually, and that is what stands out to me about Red Dead.
Speaking of a game not really getting over its history, I will say the one ding on Assassin's Creed Odyssey. When I say that the visuals are cool, I'm mostly referring to environmental, right? One thing I can tell you is still fucked up is the faces of the characters when they talk.
Oh god, it's so bad.
I was watching a stream last night.
Watching endless hours of dialogue of characters in that fucking
What about Cassandra?
First off, it's fine, but she's got a fucked up face. Like,
yeah, dude, I've watched gameplay multiple times trying to decide if I was going to buy Origins or Odyssey, and watching cutscenes of streamers, like watching a cutscene, like it's honestly, it's pretty wonky and weird to watch characters talk to one another. Yeah, like it looks like a Mass Effect problem. Like, it's exactly what it looks like.
They have super weird gestures. Like, she'll be like,
like their character models.
So her animation is not that great.
Unhuman movements.
Yeah, animation is very not human.
You know what is gorgeous in that game though? The water. Holy shit!
No shit. Like when
I don't know what they did.
No, it's specifically one thing that's really done well. When you see waves crashing and you walk through the waves, it looks so natural. The waves crashing on the shore.
Waves are good.
Great. So good. Yeah.
So let's come to a consensus here. Do you guys want to
come to a consensus that we don't have a consensus?
Cool.
We have 2 games.
Red Dead and Spider-Man,
Yeah, I
best
don't
looking
think-
games.
Need to be like ones we're deciding.
No.
You know, especially the way we're handling this whole show with
It's
it being
casual.
a very subjective thing. I think the way we talk about it is more important. Everyone in the world has a list, has a top list. Who gives a shit? You know.
Cool. Moving on
Talk
to
about
the next topic then. For music, best music,
Mm.
Spider-Man, God of War, Octopath Traveler, Forsaken, Celeste.
Neo, you giving this Spider-Man again?
No, I'm not giving this to Spider-Man again.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering.
Spider-Man's music is... I'll tell you why Spider-Man's music I liked a lot. I appreciated it that it had the right music cues and the theme that was recognizable. Like, you know Spider-Man's theme. You when you jump off a building and you start swinging, the music swells and goes up, and then it gets all superhero-y. It gives you, like, the feeling that you are the hero, and it's very heroic sounding.
Yeah, it's very orchestral.
Very orchestral. Very good use of music. But no, I would not say it has the best music. Now, I put God of War. Did you put God of War on there?
I did, yes.
So now, the thing with God of War is I can't recognize or remember in my brain what the music didn't sit with me or stand out in any way during my playthrough of it.
Mm.
So
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. Like, I don't think the score of God of War stood out. I mean, I remember it being good, but I don't remember it standing out. Like, for me, this is Forsaken without a doubt for me.
I was going to bring up Forsaken and Celeste. Those are my two big ones.
I've heard a lot of good things about Celeste. I haven't listened to anything from it, but I'll just speak to Forsaken really quickly. Is like, I can pinpoint the feeling that the music caused in the raid, in the vault scene of the raid, and like how it was tied to the mechanics of the fight, and then just overall too, even outside of the raid. Like, Destiny soundtracks have always been a favorite of mine. Like, I have all of the soundtracks saved to my phone via
same
Apple
dude.
Music.
Every single one.
Yeah, so I mean, for me, it's definitely going to be Forsaken. But I'm curious to hear more about Celeste, because I know it's been popular for a lot of reasons. Score being one of them.
Yeah, I've been listening to that album a lot recently, and it's fantastic. It's chiptune music. It's like chiptune music, but when I listen to it, it reminds me of when I was playing the game. And the game used music in really cool ways. It is repetitive, but at the same time, it doesn't ever feel repetitive. And as you move from panel to panel in the game, like as you're moving through the game, the music ramps up in certain ways. So like certain pieces of like the track will be missing, and then it'll fill in, and then it's this whole, like, as you're reaching the end of the chapter, like it builds on certain moments, and it actually harkens back and makes you remember earlier parts of the game, and it does really a good job of telling a good story through music. So when I listen to the soundtrack, I'm instantly taken back to my time with the game all the way up to the finale. Also, there's there's 2 albums. There's actually the main game, and then there's the B-sides. And those are like, you unlock like videotapes or cassette tapes during the game, and those unlock special challenges and challenge levels. And those things are like some real poppin' numbers there. Like, they really, really stand out. I think it's a great soundtrack. But Forsaken, though, Destiny's soundtrack is something I can just pull up in my brain like that, because I know what the the Gambit song or like the PvP music is. It, like, I instantly like start humming it. Like, I hear you guys do it too. You guys do it all the time.
Yeah.
Like, you just know the
it's
music.
really iconic.
And it's good. It's all good. There's not one bad piece of music that I go, this isn't good Destiny
That's
music.
true.
Like,
That's true.
everything about the Destiny soundtrack has always been good, especially in Forsaken.
Yeah, I think Forsaken did a lot of good stuff with all the different areas too, like the Dreaming City music, the raid music. I can't recall off the top of my head the Tangled Shore tracks besides the one lost
Tangled
sector,
Shore
but
tracks were like all very like, I don't know, like drum heavy, and like it was like the themes of all the barons you were hunting down, like a lot of trumpets, like a lot of horns and
That's true.
drums and shit like that. Very intense.
Yeah, I just think it's going back to some of the visuals things that we just talked to, like I think for score 2, like it comes back to tying it back to something like a memory or a feeling that you had. And for me, it's always going to be the vault and the raid.
Oh, dude,
like
it's
that's
such a great moment.
Even to this point, like every time we do the raid, like I still get pumped every time we're raiding in the vault. I get to listen to the sound there because
it's when round 3 comes around and it's timed perfectly to the music.
Right. Yeah.
It's so smart because like the round has X amount of time and they know they can play that song and it will be done by the time the song is done. And it's the perfect just swelling orchestral moment to make you just feel amazing about what you pulled off because it gets hectic in there too. So it really adds a dimension to the encounter.
Agreed. What did you have, Felix, for?
Well, I mean,
the
only ones that are on this list the only one on this list that I actually like downloaded on my Apple Music is God of War. I have been actively listening to it.
And what do you think of it?
I think it's great. I think it's outstanding. I think it conjures up like multiple musical styles while still maintaining that I'm in, Norse. I'm in Norse culture, which it was super cool. However, I don't really recall it during my playthrough because I didn't use it during my playthrough. I used the Game of Thrones through my entire playthrough of God of War.
So you turned the in-game off and just had that playing
through
your
no.
setup? Nice.
So I started off playing the game and then said I wasn't bored with the music or anything. I just wanted to entertain people that were watching. So I turned the music down, downloaded the soundtrack, listened to it independently.
That's weird.
So
it like disconnects. Weird. It like disconnects the soundtrack from the game a little bit.
Right. So I don't. Right. Yeah. So there are times where there's an action sequence and then it's like some like somber Game of Thrones thing, and then or the vice versa. I'm just trying to talk to a character. There's
it's
yeah. So it was a weird experiment, but like.
So if you had to pick something, then.
I like it. I could pick God of War. I was trying to think if Assassin's Creed stood out. It didn't. Previous soundtracks of Assassin's Creed have stood out.
Oh, dude.
This one did not stand out.
There were some Assassin's Creed back in the days that were amazing. 2 was incredible.
Yeah.
4 was so good. Black Flag was amazing.
It was.
And so was Rogue. Rogue was.
Oh yeah.
I can't believe how good Rogue was. But no, I can't really think of any other games that really stood out to me other than, when I heard what I heard in God of War. So, that's my vote.
I'm not going to add too much more because Locke pretty much covered my feelings on the Forsaken soundtrack, and I think when it all comes in.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I saw
the one thing I forgot to say was Destiny. The previous Destiny soundtracks were all outstanding. So more than likely, if I was still playing Destiny, I would have downloaded that soundtrack. I think I'm gonna download it anyway.
You should. It is.
You know what was cool this year? They've rolled out a new program called Bungie Rewards, where you can either get for free or can purchase exclusive real life things for accomplishing in-game tasks. And they gave everyone the Forsaken soundtrack. I think if you played before October 18th or whatever the date was, like if you clear the campaign, you could just get a code to download the full soundtrack. So you would have literally had it, Felix.
Yeah, I took advantage of that. That was pretty good.
Yeah. But the only thing I'm going to say, because I'm not going to go too deep on Destiny, Locke, like I said, really summed it up perfectly, is that if I played Octopath Traveler, that might be my soundtrack game.
Really?
Yeah. I went through a lot of these because music is so important to me. And it guides a lot of my game interests. Even like I rate it very high, even above some other things people might think are more important in a gaming environment. You're 100% spot on about Celeste. Celeste is an amazing soundtrack. It is chiptune inspired. It's very like I've been on a chill wave adventure.
Oh yeah.
Personally, so it's a lot of that as well, electronic and a lot of piano too, which is cool. So Celeste is a really good example.
Please
of that
listen
genre.
to it or play the game. Please do either of those.
Oh yeah,
things.
no, I definitely want to. I want to play it. But Octopath Traveler sounds to me like just like the best Final Fantasy soundtrack that I've never heard. I went through about maybe 20 minutes of it tonight, and every track was like, wow, I bet I'll remember what happened in this game the moment that I hear this. I bet I'm going to be in some massive battle, or I bet this is an amazing area that I would have found. It's a shame the game just didn't really
Hold together.
didn't grab me when I played the demo, and I guess the full release version kind of left the same weird taste in people's mouths because it kind of like fell off pretty quickly. But the music, from what I heard when I did research, was out of this world. It was so good.
So what would you vote on then?
I would vote on Forsaken, Destiny 2 Forsaken.
Well,
because I mean, I'm thinking Game of the Year as a whole, and the music of Destiny in 2018 also had Whisper of the Worm.
Oh my god, what
like
an awesome song! That I love it.
With that little hidden track, like there's so much they did across the board. Even I guess Osiris was kind of December, but the Warmind soundtrack was amazing. Like the music of Destiny throughout the year across the board is so good that I got to give it to them for 2018.
Well, guys, Locke, Forsaken.
Yes, absolutely Forsaken.
Felix.
I'm just gonna go with God of War.
Cool. And I'm also gonna go with Forsaken. We're doing it. We're nailing it.
Boom.
Very nice,
I like
guys.
that.
Very nice.
I like that.
All right, so I'm gonna go for best moment next. Now this is a fun one. I only came up with 2 things I could think about. As I'll give you an example of a moment. This might be a little difficult for Locke in some cases. I'm sorry, Locke, because you didn't play a lot of these.
It's all good.
I apologize. So one of the moments I'm going to bring up now is the Lenny moment from Red Dead Redemption 2. You know what I'm talking about. This is the moment where you and Arthur, you're Arthur.
This is the drunk mission.
Oh yeah,
and you go to the bar with Lenny.
This is the in-town drunk mission.
Oh yeah.
That's really fun.
It's a crazy mission. The mission escalates. It goes from like you're just having a drink, and then it does a bunch of jump cuts to some weird antics, and then everybody looks like Lenny, and like even like women are dressed like and look like Lenny, and then you have your talk button, right? You push the talk button.
The camera's warping. It's like a fisheye lens.
It's crazy, and like you're trying to find Lenny in this bar full of people, and it says like Lenny or Yenel, and it like or flips the letters upside down, like it just goes nuts.
Your UI prompts are getting misspelled and shit. It's really well done.
Did you guys ever try and recreate the Lenny moment later multiple times in many bars like I did?
I didn't try. I've had some Lenny moments in my life, for sure.
I think we all have.
Had a couple.
Another moment I'm bringing up is in God of War. There's a moment where you first meet the World Serpent in the overworld, in like the big open area, and he like you think you're gonna fight this thing, like this thing's like coming at you. God of War in previous games is you're fighting monsters for 20 times the size of yourself, and it just pulls itself out of the lake and it fills the water in, and like the water recedes, and like it opens up the world more, and it shows you how like massive the world is. That was like a very big standout moment for me in God of War. So these are 2 moments that I brought up that I wanted to pinpoint in games. I thought it would be a fun thing to see if you guys had any of various moments as well.
So we're talking about in a narrative of a story. We're not talking about moments we had in multiplayer.
It's a great.
I mean, you're the
question.
one. Yeah, that's a good question.
Because I'm thinking about gameplay design moments that were intentional. Like this is like an intentional thing that happened with Lenny, the Lenny mission, and the World Serpent. You meeting the World Serpent for the first time. Those are intentional by the devs, I want to say. So I'm gonna say like probably gameplay story wise.
I mean, the one that stood out to me the most, which I don't want to spoil anyone on, is
we're in Game of the Year, man. We're spoiling things. This is
I was just gonna say no spoil for people who want to play this game. But in Spider-Man, there's a changeover where in the story where you think it's going in one direction and it goes in a completely different direction, and I like that changeover in Spider-Man, but I don't want to describe it in case Trip wants to play the game.
I think I know the moment you're talking about.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to spoil? I mean, we're into the year, baby.
So. No, I don't want.
Yeah. It would be unfair for me though.
It was too good.
You want to play
for
Spider-Man?
My lack of one day I plan on it, but I feel like I can't be that guy to just reserve my right to not hear about something because we need to talk about it.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter. Like it's like it. The point I'm getting at
Rip
is
it, dude. Rip it. Rip it.
Take out your earphones for a second. I'll put my
That's a good idea.
I'll put my hand down when we're done
Yo,
talking.
that's a
about it.
really,
Nah,
really good idea.
I'll do it.
All right. No,
I'm
doing
fine.
it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Fine.
I'm doing it.
Locke,
I'm doing it.
Locke don't care. He's leaving the earphones in. It's fine.
Not on the show.
All
Don't
right.
know what you guys are saying.
So, you're talking about the moment where Dr. Octopus reveals himself to be the guy pulling all the strings. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. Yes.
And it's like that moment where Peter realizes that he's being betrayed by his mentor, and he's been running the Mr. Negative's, he's been running Mr. Negative's whole plot. Yeah,
That's
man, that is a crazy moment because you spend like the first half of the game or like 3/4 of the game.
Well, you spend most of the game thinking that they wrote this character differently.
Right.
That's what you think.
Right. He's like your friend and he's your mentor
Yeah.
and you respect him and they make him really, really relatable. They make him like really like you like him. Like he doesn't seem like a bad guy.
He's a great character.
He's a really well done version of Dr. Octopus.
It was good.
That is a great moment. I'm gonna put my hand back down now so he can put his headphones back in. All right, it's coming down. You can put your earphones back in. I think he noticed that.
All right.
You did it, man. You did it.
That was perfect.
Spoilers are over.
Look, we solved a problem. That was amazing.
That was good.
So
And then I keep my hand up, put it down when spoilers are over. Love it.
I knew Trip Zero that like close in your heart that you might play that game one day, and I didn't want to ruin that for you.
I do appreciate that. I do a lot.
Well, Locke knows the moment now. He knows officially what the moment is.
Yeah, I'm never gonna play Spider-Man.
All right, well, I'm just saying it's a cool moment, so you can kind of semi weigh in if you so choose.
Trip it is a cool moment, man. You're gonna love it one day.
Glad I took the
There you
buds
go.
out, dude.
You're gonna love it one day. Yeah.
All right. Anything else anyone wants to point out, or do you want to just? This is kind of a weird topic.
No, I mean, mine. Like, there's two things that come to mind.
Cool.
One of them's gaming related, and one of them is a game related, and one of them is gaming related.
Go
the
on.
first one, I just think for God of War in general, to play that character again and to like get your axe back for the first time, and like the very first time you throw the axe and it comes back at you and you catch it, and it's like the controller shakes, and like I'm pretty sure the controller shaked, or maybe I just made that up, but like
slams into your hand and you feel
right, and it's like it calls back to all of the games that I played growing up, like all the God of Wars, and I just thought it was a really cool moment in the game to start off. The second thing would be, well, it's kind of cheesy. I think it's really important to call out that Ninja was like in Times Square as a Twitch streamer and as a gamer.
Yeah.
In 2018. Like, if we think about that as like gaming hitting the mainstream, like what that does for gaming as a community as a whole, and not for Fortnite, fuck Fortnite, like not about Ninja, just just
visibility,
like what it does to bring this medium to the forefront of people's minds is pretty huge. And if one individual can make that happen, it means that like the possibilities are pretty endless about what a community can achieve together. So I think what that means is that it could be a pretty big year for gaming in 2019, not just from a development standpoint, but just going into something that Felix has talked about time and time again, that this medium is super young, that it hasn't had a lot of different things like Hollywood did, like film did, right? Like it could mean that this is a big pivotal moment, for gaming. So that would be the only other thing that I would call out.
That's a great call out, dude. The Game Awards are getting to that point. I mean, you have Ninja in Times Square, and regardless of what your thoughts are about how that event went, it doesn't matter. He was there. He was there as like a gigantic personality, literally doing what he does in Times Square.
Yeah, Ninja's the Clara Bow of the gaming industry. She was like the first named film celebrity.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, stuff like AGDQ was getting bigger every year, Guardian Con getting bigger every year, like massive charity events and just cool game events, and these things are they're growing and they're becoming cooler. So
yeah, I mean,
it's exciting to see.
Guardian Con raised the most money for St. Jude's that they've done ever, right? That's fucking
ever. 2.7 million.
2.7 million, which is wild.
Yeah.
Wild, dude.
Yeah.
Well, damn.
I'm going to throw in a fun little moment that I had. Calling it best moment, like in 2018, I feel like it's a lot of fucking.
It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure.
It's very aggressive.
Favorite moments. Favorite moments.
I had a lot of fun.
Favorite moments.
I had a lot of fun. We're gonna exclude Destiny because the amazing moments of Destiny, uncovering all the shit that we did this fall and winter is amazing.
That's like low hanging fruit for you, Trip.
It's so low hanging, so I wanted to reach out at that.
Lowest.
I played Donut County.
Ooh.
And loved the shit out of that game. Wish it was a little bit longer, but it was a great little experience. If you guys don't know, it's a game where you control a hole in the ground, and you swallow things with the hole by just driving underneath them. And the more that falls in the hole, the bigger the hole gets. I'm going to spoil some of the plot of this game.
Whoa! I'm playing it. I'm playing it.
Are you playing it right now?
Yeah, I have it on my. I got it on my Switch after you wrote that message.
Take your headphones off.
Yeah, take your headphones off, dude.
All right, put your hand.
Put the hand up.
Put the hand up.
Hands up. Hands
All
up,
right,
dude.
I'm going off.
All right. He's probably already knows his part because the game is short as shit. But
I don't really care.
Is actually I forgot Felix is delayed.
I'm fine.
The game is actually the point of it is you work with the raccoons, and the raccoons want to steal everyone's trash in LA just to take their own trash because the people don't care about it. They're throwing it out. But what the raccoons think is trash is like people's homes and shit. And so everyone kind of gathers underground and you convince this raccoon to go against his raccoon king to give all the people back their shit. And I was like, wow, this is
it's a weird
really
plot
fucking
twist.
weird. And I'm having a lot of fun doing this. So
nice.
it was like one of my like going to bed games. I love the shit.
Yeah, I like that. Nice.
All right. Cool. You can come back now, Neo.
Was it a good one? Guys, what do you think?
Sounds great.
Sounds great. Yeah. Sounds great. You're gonna love it. You're
Am
gonna
I?
love it
Oh man, I can't wait.
Have a great time.
Probably not even like a spoiler, and you probably already know. I don't want to.
Oh, it's
say you're playing it.
It's a fun. Yeah, I actually got it after you wrote a little something in chat. You were like, you should get Donut County. It's fun. You wrote something about it, and I actually heard other people talk about it too, and they were talking about how it was like Katamari Damacy, like of.
Yeah, in
today,
a similar way.
A little bit,
yeah.
kind of. It's just like silly and like it does a weird thing. And the music, I heard Giant Bomb talk about their music in that as well, saying how much it was like real
cool,
chill,
yeah.
real chill.
Very chill.
Well, cool.
It was my sleep game.
Your sleepy game, sleepy time. So what do you guys think? Do you want to nail one down, or is it we're just gonna say Ninja being in Times Square?
No, we'll just.
Nah, we don't have to
the
nail
next
one down.
topic.
Yeah, let's
Talked about it. Shared some fun times and topics.
All right, cool. Well, then we just talked about our favorite gaming moments of the year. How's that? How's
Awesome.
that? Moving on. Are you guys ready for most disappointing?
Sure.
Let's do
Let's
it.
do it. So a lot of things happened this year. The first one, Riot Games is sexist. There was a Kotaku article that came out detailing all of that BS that goes on in Riot Games and all that nonsense. No bueno. Fallout 76 and Bethesda's handling of post-launch. Metal Gear Survive. That one is personal, and that hits. That one hurts.
Like, why is this a disappointing moment? And now it makes sense.
It's personal, man. It's personal. Telltale closing and firing their workforce 30 minutes after, like they were given 30 minutes notice to leave the building. No severance, nothing. Like awful. Just feel bad for those guys.
Rotten.
Those guys. And Blizzard, do you have phones?
Blizzard moment.
So those are the ones that I, just thinking back on 2018, came up with out of a hat. Any other ones?
Those are pretty good hat moments.
Those are pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna say that like I'll keep it to like a game perspective for a moment, just because I think like Riot Games is obviously awful. Telltale closing, obviously awful. I'm going to take those off the list for me personally, just because I don't want to rate those. But I think game-wise, the one game that sticks out to me that I tried to play that's was extremely disappointing was State of Decay 2.
Oh,
I remember.
And
we all tried this.
We literally all tried this.
We all tried this.
We were like, we could play a game together.
I forgot about it. So
It's not.
just
He
I don't wanna
erased
say-
it from his memory.
I don't want to say that
Hit
it's
your punching bag, Felix.
I don't want to say that it's bad overall because I think there's some good elements to it, but I
might
think
be good now.
but I think it was very like if we're going off of disappointing moments of 2018,
thank you, Locke.
State of Decay 2 was brutal, man. Like it was on such a pedestal for Felix and I.
It was.
Like
It was.
such a pedestal. And I played it for 2 nights.
That was
and-
like the game that brought you guys together as gamers, really.
Yeah,
yeah.
Trip never even got to the point where he played it. It was like one of these things where we did one night. It was me, Neo, you, and we tried it. It was so bad.
We couldn't even get Trip in the party.
We
I
could.
didn't think.
Oh no, I thought he couldn't play, and then it was like, "Don't bother, man." And
Oh, maybe I don't
like,
even remember.
He was
I
like, "Don't
forget
worry
how it all
about."
panned out, but my computer was having a lot of issues with it too.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
dropping crazy ass frames. It was dude.
That was a
I
Windows Store
can't
launch
believe
game.
I can't believe that it took them that many years to make that game.
Yeah,
It didn't
it's
look
bad.
or play in any kind of
It was like they
Maybe
literally it
visual
was like a
way or-
DLC
yeah.
for the original game in a new map. Like
Damn.
like because like realistically there was not
Anything
overwhelmingly new features. Like the base building was better, right? Overall, I would say. But like
Oh, yeah.
other than that, like that was the only major improvement to the game. And yeah, I guess if we went back and played State of Decay, it might not look as good as State of Decay 2, but it's not like this game was like the definition of realism. Like it wasn't like Detroit or anything like
Oh my
that, right?
God.
So like
Yo, how did I forget about that in visuals?
Detroit,
Are you
I know. I was
kidding
just
me?
about to say
How
that
are you
Detroit.
kidding me?
It wasn't on visuals, but
Whoa, whoa. Sorry.
it's gonna happen. But yeah, overall, like huge fucking disappointment.
And
And
I think
yeah.
I was going to say, I think the real measure of that is of how bad it is how high we were before it came out and how
Yeah.
low we became 2 days later.
Oh
Well, the
yeah,
expectations were so high at that point.
Right.
yeah, they were.
So for me, this was my first time playing State of Decay, and I actually really enjoyed it up until the multiplayer because we had all the issues, and I was
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
we did. Yeah.
damn, this is like the Walking Dead game I've always wanted. Like it felt like you were trying to keep a small town alive, and I'm sure that's what you guys experienced like in the first game.
What?
You were like, wow, this is really
experienced it
cool.
The first day. I experienced it the first day.
Yeah, he was hot. He was like, this was gonna be his game of the year the first day.
Dude,
Yes.
you had some high hopes for this game.
Kevin
for
Oates
sure.
Wait, State
Will
of
not
Decay
let
2?
me
The
hold
second
that
one?
down.
Yeah, the
Yes.
second one, he was hot the first because the
Oh,
first
shit.
day he played, we didn't play together. We ended up playing the second day, I think, Neo.
Yeah.
Or like
yeah.
you guys played late at night the first night and didn't play.
I
With
played with Jay
another.
Prince. That's who I played with. Jay
Yeah,
Prince.
and he was like amping it up. He was hyped on it. This was going to be like the game of games. And then
And
we tried to multiplayer together, and I think our car slingshot across the map
We're-
and killed us or some shit.
Totally remember
gonna
that.
say
That I remember.
We're gonna say this on the show just for posterity.
It
Multiplayer
wasn't
game of
our
the year.
car. It was my car. My
Multiplayer game of the year called back in February by Felix Thurgood.
Multiplayer game of the year.
Are you
Jesus.
sure, bud? There's a lot of year to go. This is the
my
one.
God.
Are you
This
sure?
is
No,
it.
this is it.
This
This
is
is it.
fucking
It's,
it.
I haven't even played the multiplayer, but I know this is going to be the multiplayer game of the year.
And thank
can
God
we-
for Kevin Oates' memory. That's something that he'll just lock in that trap and be like,
Oh,
remember
he-
when you said...
Remember when you were like so
all
ready
the
for
time.
State?
Yeah.
I was down at the job, and he always comes up to me. He goes, "Yeah, multiplayer game of the year." I'm just like, fucking dick. He wrote it in the fucking chat tonight, dude.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
It's
dude.
amazing. It's amazing.
Well, I think we have a winner. I think
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a fucking winner.
it's
yeah.
fucking State of Decay 2.
I mean, I was
Pretty big
gonna.
disappointment.
Wait, I was just the one thing I was gonna say is until he said that, I was gonna say, well, it's not my perspective, but if I looked from like an overall PR nightmare, it's like a tie between what Blizzard did and fucking Fallout.
Yeah, they're both.
Bethesda.
They're both awful things. But I think
But from
the-
a personal perspective,
Yeah,
it's
and I
the
think-
State of Decay.
I think going back to what Tripp said earlier, I think what's valuable about what we're doing is like our personal takes on the year versus like everyone's gonna say the Fallout 76 debacle was awful. Everyone's gonna say, the where are your phones from Blizzard is awful, because it was. I mean, and we're not debating that. Like those were awful moments for gaming.
I would have picked Telltale if we're looking to like pick one for the year. Everyone having to just not have a job. Be like, all right, dip right now. The fuck out.
But our whole
like,
podcast,
yikes, dude.
All 4 members of our podcast were essentially let down by this one game.
That is very fucking true, dude. 100%.
I love it.
It's fun.
I don't even know how I remembered that game, to be honest with you. That just literally came to me as we were getting ready to start talking about this.
Do you guys remember? Yeah. Do you guys remember the graphic I did for like the show we did right after it? It was all dumpsters on fire.
Dumpsters. I do remember that.
So funny.
It was like Deadpool in the center and like all dumpsters on fire, and every dumpster had a copy of State of Decay too.
Yep.
Oh my god! I do remember.
That was some rage Photoshop you did right there, dude. Just getting all your catharsis out.
I felt guilty about it. I was like, are they gonna think I'm being too political when I put that out?
It was political. You're just putting your opinions in the trash. That's all.
Yeah. I was just like.
That's okay.
That was good.
Well, perfect.
Nice. Do we want to hit what do we got next? We got most anticipated, or do
So-
you want to hit our
I would like to hit our list next,
Okay.
if that's cool.
And then for sure.
So, and then we'll end with like, what are you guys looking forward to in 2019? We'll end with that. All right.
I like that. I like that.
I'll just start
Good
with
driving. Good driving, bus driver.
Hey, that's what I do. I do things.
Those things.
So I'm gonna start with my number 5 here, you guys, and it is Smash Brothers. Big surprise.
Smash Bros.
I have waited. I didn't have a Wii U. Didn't have a Wii. I haven't played since GameCube, and I played the shit out of that GameCube Smash Melee. And I am so glad it's back, and it's in handheld form. I've taken it with me, and I can still play online. It's like the best thing ever. Playing with people in our group, in our Discord friends and everybody. Oh my god, I love it. It's good, and it's a good Smash game. It has this weird-ass campaign that I'm never going to finish. Whatever. I don't care. I don't care about that shit. I just want to smash people. That's all. That's all I care about.
Just trying to smash, dude.
That's my number 5. It's got Snake back. That's important to me, too. He's back. There you go.
Solid Snake? Solid Snake?
Solid Snake is indeed in it, and it's the most...
Dude, fucking everyone
Dude,
is
the
in
game
this
is not... Dude, Joker from Persona 5 is going to be coming in it.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me?
Wacky, dude.
It's so cool. It's not like a real fight. Like people will go, it's not a real fighting game, but it is like one of the best party games Let's
get a Destiny Guardian in there. Let's get the guy from Doom in there. Let's get some just like real, like crazy ass shit.
Yes, absolutely. I'm totally all about that. Just fucking throw the kitchen sink in there. Just no more Fire Emblem people, please. We don't need any more sword people with the Fire Emblem. All right. So who wants to go next?
You call it out because you can.
I'm gonna go with
pick
Felix.
an order.
Felix,
Pick an order.
What is your number 5? All right, I'm just gonna do my order here. Okay, cool.
My number 5 is Red Dead Redemption 2.
At number 5, huh?
Number 5.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
What's up?
Well, nothing. Red Dead Redemption 2 just it isn't as much of a game as it is a saga or an experience.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're saying game of the year, I can't qualify it as a game because it's their vision. You play out their vision. If you derail from their vision, they penalize you for it.
Yeah.
And I was penalized quite frequently in that game and couldn't play it like a fucking game. So I was just like, okay.
You couldn't play it like a Felix Her game is what.
What's hilarious is I still haven't even passed chapter 3. Like it's just I want to be
playing the game, but that's a whole different show.
I want to be motivated to go back to it eventually, but
I did decide this week that I'm going to push my way through it and just play their movie as they intend it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I need to too. I'm not past horseshoe overlooking either.
And
I'm gonna do it eventually.
Felix, you're totally right. The gameplay is like nothing crazy. They have a lot of systems in there that makes it feel really like immersive, but when I'm running around shooting people and I want to get the high ground and they go, nope, you went too far from the thing that's happening.
Yeah. Like
I'm like, okay, I guess I can't.
Out of bounds.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
Locke, you made a good decision waiting.
But I'm not faulting. I'm still putting it in the top 5 because it's some of the things they did in that are outstanding, so it gets marks, but I couldn't put it.
They still haven't said if it's coming to the good old PC, have they?
They have not. They have
Not officially. Didn't something leak? Something like some spec list or some like resolution list or something.
Somebody leaked a small video. It was a video of the PC menu. Yeah. So like the
PC leak
graphics
with
menu.
graphic options.
Yeah.
So yes.
And I'm not saying you're smart for waiting lock because it's bad. I love the shit out of it. I'm glad I was part of the conversation. But through that lens, I wouldn't have been sad if I waited for a PC experience.
Of course. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So next is Trip. What's your 5?
5 is Donut County.
Donut County made the list. Oh my god.
Made the list. Yeah.
So
I didn't do a crazy amount of gaming this year, and that one really kind of like really soured me. I had a lot of fun with it. I mean, I'm still playing some games from previous years, obviously, but I mean, not even on an obvious level. Like I still play Stardew Valley at least a couple times a week. I love the shit out of that.
They got the multiplayer patch and Switch now.
Yeah, I know. I need friends that want to get a farm going on the Switch, dude.
I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I'm that brave.
That's fine.
All right. Locke, what's your 5?
It's my 4.
Cool. No, yeah.
I didn't play 5 games in 5 new games in 2018, but
well then, do you want to? You're gonna be off.
It is my 5. I'll just wait till 1.
You guys
can pick one round to skip, essentially. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just skip. I mean, I could skip this round. Doesn't fucking matter. I played 4 games and I ranked those 4 games. So it's not like it's a different.
No, that's
list.
good.
Why don't you do your 4, Neo, and then I'll chime in after.
My 4 was Forsaken. Destiny 2. Mm-hmm. Destiny brought me back. I was sour last year. Osiris and that bullshit. I was like, oh man, this is like real rough to get through. But they turned it around, man. They brought that Whisper quest in. Then Forsaken came out right after that, and it was like, wow, they're really trying to change the formula up and make it a really fun. They gave me fun reasons to come back every week. People could say that it was a cop out by having like the rotation of the Dreaming City, the week rotation.
The weeks, yeah.
Yeah, because it's like a pre-programmed thing that they have set. You know what I mean? Like it's that they just expect you to like
a content rotation kind of thing.
Content rotation, exactly. But that's not bad at all because they've in the meantime they were adding. I don't know. Gambit's pretty cool. Like I know it can be frustrating to fight it with all blueberries, but like it's still a really cool game mode. The raiding was awesome. Like we did the raids, man, and it was Leviathan. Well, that was last year. What was
Last Wish and Scourge have been out this
Last Wish and Scourge, yeah. Those are really great times, and they have all these like hidden events going on, and like the Forge came out, and that's like those Forges are really sick. And I know today I saw you guys like the last 2 days talking about that stupid puzzle. Oh my god!
Labs.
I saw you guys going into this, and I'm like, yeah, for sure. But I saw you guys hopping into like going down this like weird ass rabbit hole, and I was like, what the fuck is Destiny doing right now? I can't even look at this. I can't even look at it.
We were in there live, dude, trying to get it with everyone else.
Oh
crazy.
My god.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And you know what? Kudos to the Destiny team for making something for going outside the box and being so creative. So that's why they're definitely on my list this year. They stepped up the design. Felix, what is your 4?
I'm going to draw some ire for this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Fallout 76.
Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah. I never experienced the problems that all the people of the world experienced. And all of the times that I played it with people and without, it felt like Fallout. And then it's Fallout with multiplayer. Like, I've never had that. And never knew that it was the Fallout I always wanted. Now,
I can see the twinkle in your eye.
Does it have
about this?
Does it have I
never had that.
Does it have a lot of shitty problems? Yeah, but I was always able to reconnect. I'm always able to get right back into a game, and that's never been an issue, like for me. But I'm not discounting all the problems people had, and I'm especially on PC because I've heard nothing but bad things from people like DOS Rev that I do the Team MC podcast with stopped playing it on PC, because it's like a fucking nightmare.
A lot of the people on our own Discord have as well.
Felix, my character, is still stuck in his power armor to this day.
Yeah,
Cannot leave.
it's a fucking nightmare for you over
Yeah.
there. But I have had people confirm that their console experiences were as comparable to my own. So console, yay, you did it. But,
You did.
PC, you shit all over your PC fan base, Bethesda. Way to go, dumbasses.
If you had fun with it, man, I'm happy that you had
Yeah,
fun.
listen, I'm
That's
glad
what's
it's
important.
on there for you. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was my I think my best multiplayer experience this year, next to the of a new game, next to my Elder Scrolls Online experience, which has just been great. So
Cool. Trip, what's your 4?
Word. Number 4 is Frostpunk.
Ooh.
This was a little PC game where you're doing, it's like a city builder situation, and their interesting spin on that is that it is based around a hub world. You're kind of a traveling band of the last humans in a world that's freezing over, and you're heading north, and you end up in this big furnace, and this giant fantastical furnace is powering your entire community. And as you upgrade the furnace, they can radiate heat further out from the center. So you build everything around this kind of radial hub as opposed to like streets and grid patterns and shit like that. So it was a cool spin on city builders, which I really kind of dive into in my downtime. I really enjoy those. You got to send out people to collect resources, of course, to come back and to upgrade things in your town and survive. But another cool pool of this game is the really, really, really hard decisions you have to make as the de facto leader that are almost like heart-wrenching.
real
Sometimes
fucking dark.
really dark decisions you got to make. Like you've got to decide whether to, I think, not feed people over a certain age or like half everyone's rations at a certain point. You've got to decide whether I forget what the other decision is, but the other option of this terrible decision is to send children to work certain places to get extra labor done because you don't have enough resources to get X and XYZ accomplished. Like
Yeah, I want to
people
play.
will hate you for these things. What really drew me to this game were those decisions, the things that you have to kind of put yourself into to understand and try and work through. Because I don't know, I feel like games spend a lot of time making you feel amazing and awesome. It's kind of a humbling experience to go through something like that. Obviously, I'm not really truly experiencing what someone homeless or wandering or surviving is living like, but it does make you think and put yourself in a different situation.
Yeah,
Almost in the same way that like This War of Mine did, which I played a lot of. That was another really good, what
I
if
love
you were
This
in this
War of Mine.
situation?
Yep.
Yeah, it's making you make really tough decisions that are thrust upon a leader, like for survival.
Really tough.
Yeah.
There's not an option. You can't be like, nah, we'll do something else. It's like, here's what happened, this or this. Like there's not like a try again or go back to this. Maybe something else happens. It's not like RNG. It's whatever your path leads down. You've made these choices, so this is the next one. What are you going to do? Because look, people are going to die either way. You want to save the most people? Do you want to be compassionate? What's your deal?
Hell yeah.
And it really, really kind of gets to you. You're like, fuck, man, that was terrible. So that being said, I haven't played a crazy amount of it because it does take a little bit of a mental toll, but it's always fun to hop in and kind of exercise those muscles and
Yeah, real heavy.
Yeah.
Cool. Locke, what
Nice.
is your number 4?
My fourth is a bit of a cheat because it was in early access for a while, but it hit full release this year, so I'm going to count it. Is Subnautica.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason why, is from someone that mainly plays first-person shooters almost exclusively. It was really good to play a game that had none of that. That was just exploration and trying to figure out what's going on with this world, this like foreign underwater world. And also, I really love the art style. I thought it was unique. It's not super realistic, but it's not super cartoony. So it's this like in between style of the way that they do their graphics. And playing a game that wasn't like find gun point click shoot gun at person's head was
Right.
a nice switch up for me because it's not what I usually do. And I thought it did it extremely well. So when you hear this like argument of, you know, games are this ultra violent thing now, like everything is slash them up, shoot them up, beat them up games, like a game that is just exploration is also, I'm glad that game came to full release and came to console and wasn't just a PC release, so there's more people playing it. So that would be my 4.
Harkens back
Nice.
to Myst. You know, Myst was just like a puzzle exploration thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually looking at that the other day on my Steam library as I was re-downloading computer, and I added it. So I might go through Myst for the first time in my life, even though I own like 2 copies of it. I've never actually played past the first room with like weird video signals of people. I want to actually kind of get that in my gamer memory. So we'll see one day.
Nice.
Cool. All right, number 3. For me, it was, now this was a really tough decision, like a really, really tough decision. And number 3 for me was for number 3.
That was hard putting this at 3.
Yes, it was, and it's Spider-Man.
Whoa, dude.
Yeah, because I had to really think. I know, and it's so good in so many ways. Like the swinging and the combat's actually a lot of fun and really good. But
You shock me, Neo.
I know. But like the stealth didn't do it for me. Like those stealth segments, like Batman. The Batman games make you feel like Batman, right? That's like the joke. Like you stalking your enemy from the shadows, and that never happened in Spider-Man. And the open world, while it was cool, and the way they dished out like side stuff to do was really cool, it's kind of repetitive, and it didn't do anything new with an open world. It didn't go like, honestly, like as much shit as I give Ubisoft, they know how to do open worlds now. They have their formula and they stick to it, and they know it works. And even though I don't really care about it anymore, like I know it's a good way of doing it in some ways. Spider-Man tried to do other things, and ultimately it came down to just like stopping crimes like around the city. But the story is a 10 out of 10 for me, and the swinging is great. It's amazing. You really I love swinging through the city of New York, but ultimately it didn't.
Number 3. I like it.
Wow, dude.
I know.
I like it.
I respect it. Respect the hard calls.
I have a feeling what's going in your top 2.
I know.
I'm not gonna say it, but I have my thoughts.
Yeah. Go ahead, Felix.
We're
3.
aligned, buddy. We're aligned, buddy.
Oh, really?
Spider-Man.
Whoa.
I'm not going to go and say all those negative things you said about Spider-Man because
sorry, Petey. Sorry.
I don't agree with most of them. I just don't put it like higher than the 2 games that are above it. I just don't put it higher because I just didn't enjoy it as much as I enjoyed the 2 that I'm going to talk about. So
it's fair.
But I did enjoy it. I bought the DLC. It motivated me to buy the extra content.
Dude, I saw Spider-Verse and I was like, I got to go play the DLC like right now. You know?
I got to see that movie.
We need to talk about that movie because I had some concerns.
Dude, fantastic.
We'll talk
movie.
later.
Yeah.
We'll talk later.
Maybe I'll see it over the weekend. We'll see.
Trip, what's your 3?
Number 3 is Monster Hunter World.
Whoa.
Oh, there
nice.
you go.
It's one that I want on PC, man.
I know.
Yeah.
I really wanted to play that.
Yeah. That one, I'm glad I didn't wait. Even though I didn't play it as much, ultimately. It was still a really, really, really cool game. And it's not the first Monster Hunter I played, one that got me. I played a couple on the 3DS. I think that was their medium. Almost exclusively for a while.
Yeah. Popular
At least
in
over
Japan.
Here, maybe.
Yeah.
It
was on PSP before. Like they had the Monster Hunter on PSPs.
Yeah. Very popular Japanese series. But I don't know. Like I had people to play with. It was cool learning about the monsters. Like you literally go on little mini hunts and you stalk them and pick up little pieces of them, and you learn about them. You got a notebook and keep track of everything. And the more you learn about them, the better you can kill them. You can see weak points and you can craft weapons that are specific for that monster. And the game is so build heavy. And when I say that, I mean, if you're going after something, you can customize your character specifically for that, to the detriment of fighting almost everything else, but you're going to be extremely amazing at killing this one thing. And to get the biggest hunts, you have to do that. You've got to like hyper focus on what you're tracking and stalking, and you got to know it like the back of your hand. combo the right way, use the right weapons. Weapon system is great. You can literally pick any weapons you want. You can practice them in your little like character's room area. You can go in there and just like work on new combos and skills, and it's a lot, man. It's a very, very dense game and a very dense experience. Couldn't give a shit about the story. I don't remember what was happening, or there's some big rock lava monsters. Not important. The real fun stuff was like hunting these things and like then doing more and more repeat hunts to get, you know, certain loot to drop to craft armor sets and put the stats on them you want. It was a very cool grindy experience, kind of like very RPG influenced, but I wouldn't call it a full on RPG. Like it was, but it wasn't. You don't like follow a character through a story and you don't really level up. You kind of increase your gear to a certain point. That's a whole other debate. It was a lot of fun. There was so dense, dude. There was so much. I barely scratched the surface even of that game, but there's so much to do. And I'll probably play it again when it hits PC. It'll look amazing.
It's on PC now.
Currently. Oh, is it right?
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
Listen, I will make a commitment. Look, I will make a commitment that I will play it if we play it.
I will. Okay, right. I'll tell you what. I'll wait for a sale to pop up, and I'll post it in the.
Yeah. It's on my wish list, I think.
Okay.
So
I'll add it to mine. I for some reason didn't really realize it was out. Yeah, a sale is a good. It's a good idea. Good incentive to play with some buds.
I got alerts for this kind of thing, so don't you worry, guys. Don't you worry.
Cool. Number 3, Monster Hunter World.
Locke, what's up? What's your 3?
3 was difficult for me. The top 3 of the 4 games that I played were difficult for me. 3 is going to be God of War for me. And the reason being, while I loved kind of going with what you said, Neo, that I loved the story of God of War. I mean, like the story that it was telling had me captivated from like the intro. Like when I first fired up the intro and played it, like I was like hooked on it. But I found some of the things to be repetitive that were built into the game. So overall, like lasting enjoyment is why I ended up putting it at the 3rd spot for me, because I enjoyed playing the other 2 games quite a bit more. But by no means is it, of course, a bad game. But for me, the story wasn't enough to make it my game of the year, right? If this was like a book that I read or maybe a comic that I read or something like that, like the story would be enough. But for this, gameplay wise, it wasn't enough to take out the top 2.
Even with that sweet axe that you could throw, and
the axe was great. It was great, but that was 3 minutes and then it was over, and then I got used to the axe again. But no, yeah, like it's hard to put it in the 3rd spot because it is such a great game. But for me and my enjoyment in this year, it would have to be in the 3rd spot.
Very nice.
Cool, man.
We're on number 2 now, and my number 2 is God of War. So yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Is that what you were expecting, Locke? Is that?
It was one of the 2. I didn't know which way you were gonna go, so we'll see if my one is right. I'm gonna fucking freak out.
All right, look, God of War was great. You're like you said, Locke. Story, 10 out of 10. Really good stuff. They did things with Kratos that no one thought they could do, man. He was a very unrelatable character in his old games. Just a big ball of anger who killed gods. And now you love him now because he has a son and he cares about him and he's a different person. Anyway, you know the whole thing if you played it. Combat was fantastic. The world was great. I liked the Metroid-ish Vania style that they implemented there. All that stuff was top-notch stuff. Felix.
Cool.
Okay.
What's your number 2?
Ditto.
Hey.
Number 2, God of War, and I'll add all the things that Neo said are perfect. But the thing I'll add is it surprised the fuck out of me. Because we went into it with that huge debate that we had last year, but like before it came out, about how God of War is just another one of these games that's a template for Sony. It's we're taking it off of Last of Us. It's a template for Sony. It's just going to be this template for Sony again, except God of War skin. It ended up being a really developed game with parts of it that were super open. It had a really cool, crafting, upgrading system. And I just didn't expect that. I didn't expect to have that kind of fun with it.
It's a good point.
Because we did go in kind of preloading this idea that
we were hard on it.
We were.
And-
But again, to our own defense, like just going off of trailers, like that's all we had to go.
Yeah,
off
that's all
of,
we had,
You know?
yeah.
But
And all those trailers
you're
dropped
right.
simultaneously, so it was like, oh,
But-
we're just in the same game with different characters. in the
Yeah,
same
but I would agree with you. I
world.
think that's a really good point to call out that I think that's why it's on the top list for most gaming websites, right? And most people is because it was, on top of being a fantastic game, it surprised the hell out of fucking everybody about how good it was.
Yeah, right.
So it's a good call out. Trip, what do you got?
What's up?
Number 2 is Red Dead Redemption 2.
Woo-wee!
That's the number 2.
Jesus.
I was wondering when that was going to hit any list
It's
other
up
than
on-
mine.
It's up on the 2, man. When I play a game, a large part of that is how much do I feel like I'm escaping. If that's why I'm playing a game, because there's different reasons why you play any given time of the day or in your life. But for Red Dead, whenever I was playing, it really, really set me on a journey, no matter what I was doing. And I've spent a lot of that game not doing what they want me to be doing, not in a way where I want to break it or not follow a specific path on a mission, but just in a way where like I haven't done the story because I've been riding my horse as far as it'll go, and I'll go on just crazy hunting tangents where I'm tracking this animal, just taking in the world and the towns and the city and the people and talking to everyone and looking at shit in the general store in first person mode, like just the ridiculously immersive shit. And this game like really grabs me and takes me actually there. Like I feel like I'm in that old west. And it's a really cool environment to be in, and I did a fantastic job. So I had a lot of good time spent in that world so far, and I can't wait to actually finish it one day.
Samesies. All right. Locke.
For me, my number 2 would be Forsaken.
Mhm.
I don't really think I need to explain it too much.
Nope.
But yeah, I mean, for me, I think a big part of my enjoyment in gaming is playing with others, and I think it's been for 2018 the best multiplayer experience that I have had. Obviously, playing with the two of you and the other guys in the Discord, and the things that we have accomplished, like as a team, and some hilarious moments gaming together. So, I think that in itself is separate from everything that we've talked about Forsaken. So for me, that's why it would hit the number 2 slot.
Very nice. I'm surprised it's not your 1, honestly.
I'll explain why when I get to my 1.
We'll get around
yes,
to it.
I figured it was going to surprise most people that it wasn't my 1, because it's definitely my most played game.
Yeah,
Definitely playing that all the time. But yeah.
Awesome. So we're down to number 1 now. Let me preface
it. We'll just do it your way.
preface it. Thank you. Let me preface it.
I really tried. I'm sorry, guys.
Let me preface it by saying I played a lot of indie games this year, and the Switch helped in that. I played
Switch is an indie machine.
Dude, I played Hollow Knight, Dead Cells. I played Celeste and Donut County, and I could literally just pull my Switch up and just list all these games out. But the one game that stuck with me, the one game that I actually finished, because I didn't finish Hollow Knight or Dead Cells. Like I ended up putting them down and moving on. I wanted to finish Hyper Light Drifter, didn't get around to finishing that yet. But the one I finished was Celeste, and it was fucking awesome because it's hard. It's harder. It's hard as Hollow Knight and Dead Cells. Like this game is like really challenging, and between the music and I didn't know there was a story going into it. It kind of like had like a small like, oh, I got to climb the mountain. Like this is really important to me, and that was the story. And it became so much more by the end. And like I kid you not, you guys, Trip, this is your game. This is a game I think you would love. All of you guys would love this game, but I'm saying like I know like Trip's style, and this is like right up his style.
Would I love it?
It is like controller breaking, frustratingly hard sometimes.
No, you wouldn't love it.
It's a game where you die a lot, and it's all trial and error. Like you know what you have to do in the game, but you just have to get the character to do that thing.
Gotta do it.
And it's a beautiful it's a beautiful game. And when the end comes, I sat on that game for for weeks. And when I started like writing for our website, like doing some written pieces, I wanted to go back and write about it because I just needed to
You still can, man.
say something.
You know?
I might still do that, but
Right.
Visiting Celeste months down later, they're down the road.
I'm adding Celeste
Whatever the title is.
to my wish list. That's what I'm gonna do.
one recommendation: if you have the Pro controller, use that. Do not, or if you have a real D-pad, use that because you need those diagonals. You need the diagonals. That's my little hint there. Because
Can I not do it with mouse and keyboard?
it's a platformer. It's a very hard platformer.
All right, well then I'll play it with an Xbox controller.
Do that. Yeah, that's perfect. Xbox controller will do the trick.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a great. If you're, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about it because everyone should just go play it. So Felix.
No, it's you've recommended it, and a lot of people have too. So
yeah, it deserves all the accolades it's gotten. Yeah. Felix, what is your number one?
This is probably not a surprise. Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Wow. I did not see that coming.
That kind of is a surprise, dude.
Is it really?
Yeah,
No.
It is a surprise.
Yeah.
You said the character models look like shit.
They do.
I'm just fucking with you, dude. Keep going.
Go on. Yeah.
But if you know me, which I think you guys know me, I don't really value character models as being important in a game. What I do value is that surprise and delight that you get when you go into a game and then you realize, wow, they really did something with a lot of depth, a lot more depth than they've ever done. Assassin's Creed has been this cliche of make the same shit over and over and over again and make some money and who cares, right? And then there was all this talk about, oh, maybe they have weird microtransactions that are going to like screw people and everything like that. And then I got in and I realized that it is a incredibly in-depth RPG and there's a meta to it and you got to figure it out and you watch videos to like learn about it, just like I did with Destiny Year One or any of these other games. Elder Scrolls Online, I do it all the time. I want to learn how to do it to understand it so that I can impart that to other people. And this game motivated me to do that because its systems work really well. And I was really surprised that it is a game, like a really great game. I haven't finished the story. I'm level 70, which is the highest level you can get to.
You've put countless hours into it, too.
I haven't got past part 4 of the story. So this is not about it being a great story. I don't even know if it is. It's about how much of a game it is. It's a really fun, addictive like experience trying to like level up and grind and do all the shit in the world. It's great. I love it.
And this guy never bought the experience bonus, guys. Remember that?
Not once.
Remember that?
You did it for realsies.
No, I just figured out how to do it and hit it was a couple weeks ago. I hit the cap and I'm going to be streaming it actually in the next like couple of days. So
sweet. Stay tuned.
Nice. Cool.
Well, good job, Assassin's Creed, for winning the heart of Felix Hergen.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, Jesus.
Number one for you, Mr. Trip Zero.
This game is going to come as a surprise to no one in this Discord chat, no one in the Twitch chat, no one in our Discord group, no one listening on iTunes.
It's Zelda 2.
Zelda 2.
No, I'm kidding.
The game that just came to the Switch.
Yep.
For sure. No, it's Destiny 2, Forsaken. It might be my favorite game of. Dude, I don't know. Destiny does such great things, man.
Dude, you put so much time and your knowledge of lore. You are the lore master. You know everything about this
Diamond
game.
knows a lot. Diamond Jab knows a lot of lore. Probably a lot more than I do.
Dude,
he dedicates himself to that too.
Just honestly, Trip, I'm impressed that you haven't gotten bored with it, or like it doesn't. Nothing about it bores you, or ever slows down for you.
It doesn't, and that's why it almost has to be my game of the year. I mean, partially because I haven't given time enough to anything else to really kind of help take that spot, but I don't get bored of it. Like I appreciate the world that they've created. It's a world that I want to be in. It's a world that looks, sounds, feels, plays great. It's a world where I still discover things in the lore. I can always find something to do. I can work on my other characters. I can do little objectives. I can play with you guys when you're on. And the stuff that we've accomplished over these past couple of months has been amazing with everyone playing together and working so hard. Like we've been doing such high level activities, like current with the highest people in the community. Like we're right there with them, and it's so exciting to be a part of that conversation. It just elevates the entire experience even more. But even back in Destiny 1, I would run around just patrolling on planets because I liked how they sounded, how they looked. Space and like future visions of Earth and humans really like speak to me, and they've done this so well that it's like home. It's like my home video game. And then what they did with Forsaken specifically, which is why it's this year's game of the year for me, is just they really steered the ship 100% to the best place Destiny has ever been. There's so much to do for any kind of player, and they're receiving and taking and iterating on feedback in a way that Bungie never has with this game before, ever. So to the game, to the company, I mean, they're hitting it out of the park. So.
Agreed.
Hell yeah, man.
I would agree with that. And I am going to, my game of the year is I mentioned it earlier for the visual art style would be GRE.
Oh wow!
Oh, whoa, dude!
Out of left field.
Yeah. So the reason of the year being that it is last year, my game of the year, I don't know if you remember, was Hellblade. And for some of the same reasons that I chose Hellblade is the reason why I'm choosing GRE. I think what we haven't figured out as a community as a whole is how to tackle heavy topics in this medium yet as a whole, right? And I think something that GRE did really well is it is a basic platformer. It is not a difficult game. It is not super complicated. It is a short game. It looks great. It sounds great. But at its core, it is a story about internal fears and the way that you process and deal with those fears. And I think that it tackles an important subject. And because it tackles an important subject, that's why it outpaces Destiny for me. I mean, I think that the game didn't take any time at all to beat, and that's great for me in the limited time that I have and the amount of time that I've invested into Destiny. So it kind of worked out pretty well. But it's another game that I only got into because the way that it looked and because it was on a Steam sale, and I was just like, fuck it, let me play it. And it ended up being something that really took me back. And it took me by surprise, very similarly to the way that Hellblade did and what Hellblade tried to tackle. And while they did it in two completely different ways, the subject matter kind of aligns. And for me, that's why I would put it at my game of the year. And with that being said, I think this was a great year for indie developers as a whole, right? With things like Dead Cells, even it didn't hit any of our lists, but it was up there, right?
It was
Celeste.
my honorable mention.
Yeah, Dead Cells, Celeste, for me, GRE, of course. Octopath, well, Octopath was Square, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be one. But fucking insert the majority of games on the Switch too, right? I think this was a big year for indie developers, which is also really great. It should also be a pretty fantastic moment for 2018 that we're starting to see some great games coming out of the indie world, considering what we're used to with AAA titles. But yeah, to end my point, GRE for me, just outpacing Destiny.
How
amazing choice, man.
How
Really
long is GRE?
Well spoken too.
How long did it take you?
I'd have to take a look at my Steam to see how many hours I played. But
I'm about to jump into
it's not a big investment. And the other reason why I really liked it, did you play Monument Valley on iOS?
No.
Yeah, it reminds me of that.
Yeah, Monument Valley is a really good puzzle game.
Journey.
Yeah, it's very similar to Journey. Yeah.
Totally
Monument Valley is a fantastic puzzle game that has a similar feel art-wise to it. So it was another reason why I really liked playing this game, because it aligned with me playing my iOS games, which I tend to have more time to play, and I played a ton of Monument Valley 1 and 2. But I'm launching Steam, so I'll try and figure out how many hours I put into it, but it was not a ton.
Another shout out to a game I heard got a lot of buzz was Florence. That was an iOS game that came out. Yeah. Okay. That got a lot of, I heard that talked about a lot around the whole game of the year circuit. People were bringing that up. It's on iOS.
Right.
So
okay.
If you want, and I hear it's impactful as well. It's got some of that hit. And just to kind of piggyback off of what you were saying about the emotional impact of GRE, Celeste has that as well. So I definitely
Yeah,
definitely
I wouldn't-
recommend this to you, and I'm trying not to spoil it for you guys. But you really should. On that note, play Celeste.
Yeah,
I'd love
I
to
will.
play both of these. Yeah.
I added Celeste because I didn't realize that about the game until I clicked on it because it was your game of the year, and I read the title and it talks about some mental health stuff, which is great.
Yeah.
So Gree took me 6 hours.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, it's not. There's not a big investment into it, and that's over multiple play sessions. Like if you just sit down and play it, you could probably knock it out pretty quickly, knock it out in an evening. Because like I said, it's not a game that's complicated. You're really playing it for the experience that it's creating in the art style. But yeah,
Cool.
yeah, I'll definitely check out
Nice.
Celeste.
That's game of the year, you guys.
Love it.
Good stuff.
Very nice. What would you say, out of all of the games that we've talked about, is the podcast's game of the year?
Oof.
I'm going to say personally, probably Forsaken.
It's
I'm sorry, Felix, but we together as a community have
You
played
guys
this
win.
game. Oh,
thank
You
you.
win.
thank you.
You win.
Thank you for making it
Definitely
easy.
tough. Yeah.
Yeah,
It is
it's a tough
hard.
one.
It is hard. But I would say, while we're not probably as unified as the worst moment in 2018 with State of Decay 2, I think with our list minus Felix and just in general, I think Forsaken's been a pretty big part of the latter half of the year.
Yeah.
It's also been a huge part of the Emergent gamer community, especially in the Discord,
Mhm.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we've been building our community kind of around Destiny.
And
So,
the
It's
podcast
definitely
too.
easy
Yeah.
to bring people in. Yeah.
I can align with that. I mean,
Yeah. I would say Destiny. And then I think, like I mentioned, I think we've all had really good experiences with indie games and
Mhm.
Switch for you guys, right?
Yeah.
Like I know a lot of those Switch games are on PC, so I'll have an opportunity to play them. But I think that's another thing that we can align upon, that we've all had a pretty great year playing some random games that we
Yeah.
might not have seen coming, which is great too.
Fun little experiences. Really, really cleanses the palate from the AAA.
Yeah,
Just
the massive
constant-
development.
It's
Yeah.
the best. Yeah, man, I love the Switch so much. All right, guys. So, what are you guys looking forward to in 2019? You want to shoot? I wrote a list of games here that are coming out, but go ahead, Felix. You go ahead and start.
I just have three. Days,
Just.
Days Gone, Mortal Kombat 11, and
Oh wow.
yeah, Days Gone, Mortal Kombat 11, and Wolfenstein New Blood. But I have to get through Wolfenstein.
Oh, very
Mm.
cool. That's
So-
awesome.
Okay.
Forgot about those two.
Yeah. So, I
It's
mean,
like-
like this year, we of things that we know are coming out. We got Anthem, Division 2, Resident Evil Remake, Days Gone, Kingdom Hearts 3, Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. Look at
Yeah.
more 2019 games.
Twice.
Yeah, I mean,
Twice,
for
dude.
me, it's not officially 2019 yet, but I'm going to cross my fingers and hope to die would be Cyberpunk.
Oh no.
Mm.
I wish, man.
Come on, listen. Hey, just fucking just hope for a second, man.
got
we have all year to
goosebumps.
be we have
Look.
all year to be let down. Why are you going to
It's-
start it this way?
It's true. It's true.
I mean, I guess right now I would say I'm pretty hyped for Anthem. I'm pretty
Okay.
excited to see what
Mhm.
BioWare does. I got one more letdown in me for BioWare, so
One more in you.
I got one
Like-
more in me, but
Probably got one more in there too. So.
yeah, probably it before it's absorbed.
The
But
sequel to Ori is coming out.
oh,
Dude,
okay.
that's a game. The first one,
Ori's
holy shit.
fantastic.
Remedy's got Control coming out this year, which looks pretty crazy. We're gonna get some Yoshi's Woolly World 2 or Crafter World is coming out. Fire
Thank
Emblem
God.
game.
Been-
Are you ready
been
for that?
waiting.
You ready for that game?
Yeah,
Oh,
100%,
boy.
dude.
Uh,
New stream game.
I'm trying to think. I'm looking at this list here to see what else is coming out.
Well, I'm with Locke about Anthem
Anthem.
for sure. A lot of us are excited to play that and get into a new multiplayer experience, see how that goes.
I'm excited to watch you play it and see how it is.
I know you are.
I am
We'll-
firmly
we'll
going
guinea pig
to
it for
wait
you.
and see, please, on that
Yeah,
one.
dude, 100%.
I am excited for Shadows Die Twice as well.
Sekiro is another
Yeah.
one I was gonna say. It's that and Resident Evil 2 remake are fucking right
Dude,
here. And I don't know
Resident
which one
Evil.
like. I know, dude. I
I'm
know
gonna
Resident
stream
Evil
the
because
shit
of
out of that
obviously
game.
like just the attachment that I've learned to love it. Kevin Oates is like a speedrunner of that game essentially. It's pretty wild. My other friends play it too. They know where every single gun is, so it'd be cool to kind of have their perspective of it.
Mhm.
But also playing games like PT, playing the Resident Evil 7 on the PS4, that was amazing. So I'm definitely ready. But Sekiro seems so cool, dude.
It does
Sekiro,
seem good.
I heard a rumor that was a Tenchu remake that they've redone because the company From Software, apparently they made the first Tenchu games.
Huh.
So this was supposed to be like a revival of the series, but instead they decided to take it in another direction. So this is kind of like the Devil May Cry thing. Remember, Devil May Cry 1 was supposed to be Resident Evil, and then it became Devil May Cry, and then Resident Evil 4 became Resident Evil 4. It was like a whole thing back then.
Yeah.
True. So it's kind of like that kind of situation. And DMC 5's coming, so that's a thing. Jedi Fallen Order from the guys who made Titanfall 2. The Titanfall games is coming out. We got Rage 2, Division 2.
I'm a little cold on Division. It's a wait and see for me.
I think so for me too. I don't know how many of these.
You got Crackdown 3 coming in February, don't you?
Felix, are you playing that? Are you gonna play that?
Yeah. I don't know how excited I am about it.
You sound just ecstatic, dude.
20 years in development, I hear.
I'm sorry for bringing it up. My bad.
Oh no. I guess it's just like I looked at the footage and I was like, it was cool that you could shoot through buildings and all that stuff and everything, but like the game just generally doesn't look new.
It looks very it looks like arcadey. It looks very like
it looks like the previous games. Like I want to see that there's something
searching for that new
in it. I can't wait to hear the story behind the development of that game because that was announced at the launch of the Xbox One. Like that's how long
was it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy
jeez, dude. Yeah. Yikes.
Yikes.
Wait, didn't you just tell me that you didn't care what the character models look like?
Me?
No, for me, I'm not complaining about the character models. I'm complaining
what doesn't look new.
The city, it just looks like a lot of what was in previous games, but like
like a 360 game, like a kind of like
I don't know. It's hard to.
I can follow. I follow what you're saying.
I'm just trying to understand. You were pretty hot on it for the majority of 2018. So
I felt kind of the same way before Red Dead came out. When I first looked at Red Dead footage, I was like,
okay,
oh wow,
my God.
This is kind of like just a lot of the same shit.
Right.
Until I played it that I realized it was like so much more. But like, I was like, if it ends up being just some of the same old shit, I want to watch footage before I buy it. That's really the big thing.
I got great news for you guys. Toe Jam and Earl is coming back.
I just saw that,
and I'm very, very curious because I love that on the Sega Genesis.
Oh, shit! The Outer Worlds, isn't that coming out, or is that to be announced?
Is that this year?
What is that?
The game that
what's
his name?
That's to be announced.
Oh my God!
You have Rage
Obsidian
this year.
Yeah.
Oh, like the Fallout, the new Fallout thing. Yeah, it's not coming out in 2019, is it?
No, yeah, I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah,
Rage
Animal
2.
Crossing Switch.
They're confirmed.
Get hype. The entire world is fucking hype for that shit.
The wiki for the Outer Worlds shows 2019 Just that's it. That's it. It could be.
But is that a placeholder? Don't they do placeholders?
It most likely is indeed a placeholder date. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, cool guys.
There's some people on our Discord talking about Ace Combat.
Really
big Ace Combat fans.
Dude, Star Citizen 2020, man, it's here. It's coming. They said it. They said it. They said the story will be out this year.
What's the sinking city?
I don't know.
Yeah, looks interesting. The screenshot looks great.
Well, cool guys. I think that wraps up
We're
Game of
in
the Year.
2019, so
it's happening right now.
Right now.
So yeah, let's. I'd say that's a good way to wrap up the Game of the Year discussion, you guys.
Great show.
You guys have fun? Was it fun for you?
It was fun. It was fun for me.
Perfect.
Always.
I had a great time.
Well, my name was Neo Ayoshi. You can find me at Twitter at Neo_Ayoshi, and at Twitch at Neo Ayoshi. No underscore there. I will probably be trying to plow my way through Red Dead, and I will be trying to play Grease. I want to play Grease. So I will do that. And Tomb Raider if it stops crashing. I'll try and finish the new Tomb Raider game, which I never got to play. Cool. Who wants to go next?
Nice.
This is Felix Hergood. You can catch me twitch.tv slash Felix Hergood, mixer.com/Felix Hergood, and Twitter Felix Hergood. I stream a lot of games in the morning.
Nice. This is Trip Zero. You can find me on mixer.com/Trip0TV. I stream every weekday, 12 p.m. to 8 p.m., noon to 8. Destiny content primarily, but look out for Anthem. We're going to be getting into the demo, the public beta when that essentially launches, and we're going to play as much of that as possible. And then up until the EA, what is it, Origins premiere, like whatever the high tier subscription launch date is, we'll be getting in there ASAP. I'm playing that for, a month or so. See how it holds up. You can dive in and we can give Neo their report.
Yeah, we have a lot to report.
Yeah.
Please do. And Locke.
You can find me on Twitter at @lock_key. It's the best place to follow me on social media. If I do, in fact, go live, I will tweet out the link to go live, but it is also to Mixer. It's mixer.tv/ what is the lock and key? That's my name. But yeah, follow me on Twitter. That's the best place to follow me.
All right.
Nice.
Thanks for joining me,
All right,
gentlemen.
Good shit. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Later, guys.
See you next time. Okay. Shall we do this? Are you all ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready. I'm fucking ready. I even got a little fucking... We got a story in there, too. A little Insta story.
I love it. All right. Welcome.
I need it like... Okay.
What do you need? What do you need, Felix?
Yeah, go do what you're going to do.
No, what do you need? What do
I
you
wasn't paying attention. Just go.